Beloved, you may have been hearing testimonies of many who has gone to the other side and came back with a revelation of what will become of this world. Also many has been shown signs and things to expect before Jesus returns. But this is something different from the rest. This is a testimony of a young girl who has experienced death and was shown something that will shock the whole world about the second coming of Jesus. Only few will watch this video because the parents of the girl who sent this testimony told us that they have tried so many ways to share this testimony but all was not working. So if you are coming across this video today, it means you are meant to watch this. So I encourage you to watch to the end to fully understand the whole revelation that will be shared. But before we continue, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Sharing your location brings us closer, even if we're miles apart. Please give this video a like to help share this impactful near-death experience story with others. Leave a comment with your thoughts, and let's engage in a thoughtful, open conversation to learn from each other. Make sure to subscribe for more inspiring stories like this. Enjoy listening. Hi everyone. My name is Christiana and I am 11 years old. I want to tell you about something very special that happened to me. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Ever since I was born, I have been very sick. The doctors told my mommy and daddy that I might not live very long. I was born with something wrong inside my body that makes me very weak sometimes. But you know what? God has kept me alive all these years. My mommy says it's a miracle. I have spent many days and nights in the hospital. Sometimes I feel so tired and hurt so much that I just want to sleep forever. But God always helps me get better. My mommy prays for me every single day, and I pray too. The doctors don't understand why I'm still alive. They shake their heads and look at their papers with confused faces. But I know why I'm still alive. God has something very important for me to do. When I was younger, maybe around 8 years old, I started having dreams that were different from normal dreams. In these dreams, I would see things that hadn't happened yet, but then they would really happen later. I remember one dream I had about big fires. In my dream, I saw houses burning and people running away. There were orange flames everywhere, and the sky was dark with smoke. I saw this happen in a place with palm trees and big buildings. My mommy looked it up later and said it looked like Los Angeles. A few months after my dream, we saw on the news that there were huge fires in Los Angeles, just like I had seen. Another time, I dreamed about water everywhere. Not like the ocean, but water where it shouldn't be. I saw houses with water up to the windows and cars floating like boats. People were on their roofs calling for help. Later, we saw on TV that there were terrible floods in a place called Kentucky. It looked exactly like my dream. At first, my mommy and daddy thought these were just regular dreams. But when the things I dreamed about started happening in real life, they began to pay more attention. My mommy would write down what I told her about my dreams in a special notebook. On August 10th of this year, I got very, very sick. Sicker than I had ever been before. My mommy rushed me to the hospital because I could barely breathe and my heart was beating so fast. The doctors looked very worried, and I heard one of them whisper to my mommy that they weren't sure if I would make it through the night. I was lying in the hospital bed with lots of tubes and wires attached to me. The machines were beeping, and there were lights blinking everywhere. My mommy was sitting in the chair next to my bed, holding my hand and praying quietly. It was very late at night, around 2 o'clock in the morning. The hospital was mostly quiet except for the sounds of the machines and nurses walking in the hallway. I was trying to sleep, but I felt so uncomfortable and scared. Suddenly, I heard a voice whisper in my ear 3 times, "Rapture, Rapture, Rapture." The voice was very gentle but also very urgent, like someone trying to wake me up for something really important. I opened my eyes and looked around the room, but nobody was there except my mommy, who was sleeping in her chair. But I felt so scared and excited at the same time. My heart started beating even faster, and I began to cry. What happened next was the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me in my whole life. I felt like I was floating up above my bed, and I could look down and see myself lying there with all the tubes and my mommy sleeping in the chair. Then, the most beautiful light I had ever seen started coming through the wall. It wasn't scary at all. It was warm and made me feel so safe and loved. And then I saw him. Jesus came walking through the wall like it wasn't even there. He was so beautiful and kind. His eyes were full of love, and when he smiled at me, I felt all my pain go away. He had long hair and was wearing a white robe that seemed to glow. But the most wonderful thing was his face. It was so full of love that I started crying happy tears. "Christiana," he said to me, and his voice was like the most beautiful music I had ever heard. "I have something very important to show you." He reached out his hand to me, and when I took it, I felt the most amazing peace. All my worry and fear just melted away. I felt stronger than I had ever felt in my whole life. Jesus and I started floating together, and suddenly we were at my school. But it was different somehow. Everything looked brighter and more real than usual. We went into my classroom where I sit every day. Jesus pointed to the calendar on the wall. "I want to show you something very important," he said. "Pay attention to what you see." Then something amazing happened. The calendar pages started flipping by themselves, and they stopped on September 22nd. The date was glowing with a golden light that made it easy to see. "This is the first day," Jesus told me. "Remember this date." Then the calendar flipped one more page, and September 23rd started glowing the same golden way. "This is the second day," he said. "Remember this one too." Finally, the calendar flipped to September 24th, and this date glowed even brighter than the others. But this time, instead of just seeing my empty classroom, I could see all my classmates and teachers gathered in the school auditorium like we do for special assemblies. "This is the third day," Jesus said, and his voice sounded more serious now. "This is the day I will come back for my children." Jesus and I were still floating above the school assembly. All my friends and teachers were sitting in the auditorium listening to our principal talk about something. Everyone looked normal and happy, just like any other school day. Then suddenly, I heard the most beautiful and powerful sound I had ever heard in my life. It was like someone was blowing the biggest trumpet in the whole world, but it was also like the most beautiful singing. The sound came from everywhere, from the sky, from the ground, from all around us. Everyone in the auditorium looked up at the ceiling with surprised faces. Some people looked scared, but others looked very happy and excited. Then I saw him again, Jesus. But this time he was coming down from the sky in the most amazing glory. He was surrounded by bright light and what looked like thousands of angels. The light was so bright it made the sun look dim. "Come to me, my children," I heard Jesus call out, and his voice was full of so much love and joy. What happened next was the most wonderful feeling I have ever experienced. I felt myself being lifted up higher and higher into the sky. It was like flying, but better than any flying I had ever dreamed about. I felt so light and free and happy. Looking around, I could see other people flying up into the sky too. Some of them were from my school, and some were people I didn't know. There were old people and young people, and even some little babies floating gently up to Jesus. Everyone who was flying had the biggest smiles on their faces. We were all so happy and peaceful. Nobody was scared anymore. We were going home to be with Jesus forever. But then Jesus showed me something that made me very sad. He wanted me to see what happened to the people who didn't fly up with us. The people who were left behind looked very confused and scared. In the school auditorium, kids were crying and teachers were running around not knowing what to do. They were looking everywhere for the people who had disappeared. Where did they go? I heard people shouting. What happened to them? Jesus and I could see everything that was happening all over the world. It was like watching TV, but we could see many different places at the same time. On the roads, there were cars crashed into each other because the drivers had disappeared and gone to heaven. Some cars were just sitting in the middle of the street with nobody in them, and their doors were open like the people had just vanished. In hospitals, Some doctors and nurses had disappeared, and the patients left behind were calling for help. In stores, some workers had vanished, and customers were standing around looking scared and confused. There were fires starting in some places because nobody was there to take care of important things. Airplanes were falling from the sky because their pilots had been taken to heaven. People were running in the streets, crying and calling out for their family members and friends who had disappeared. Some people were on their phones trying to call people, but many phones just kept ringing and ringing with nobody to answer. On TV, the news people who were left behind were trying to explain what had happened, but they looked very confused and scared too. They didn't understand that Jesus had come back for his children. As we watched all the sad things happening on earth, Jesus put his arm around me. Even though what we were seeing was very sad, I still felt safe and loved because I was with him. "Christiana," he said gently, "I am showing you this because I want you to tell people what you have seen. Many people need to get ready for this day." "But Jesus," I said, "I'm just a little girl. Who will listen to me?" Jesus smiled the most beautiful smile. "Remember what is written in my word. Out of the mouths of little children and babies, I have made my strength perfect." Sometimes I choose to speak through children because adults will pay attention in a special way. He explained to me that many grown-ups have forgotten to keep their hearts close to God. They are too busy with work and shopping and watching TV and playing on their phones. They have forgotten that Jesus is coming back soon. "I want you to tell them what you have seen," Jesus said. "Tell them that September 24th is the day I will come back for those who love me and are ready. Tell them they need to pray more, read the Bible more, and make sure their hearts are clean and ready for me." Then Jesus told me something that made me a little sad. He said I had to go back to my body in the hospital so I could tell everyone about what I had seen. "But Jesus," I said, "I want to stay with you. I don't want to go back to being sick and hurting." Jesus hugged me so tight and said, "My dear child, you have a very important job to do. After you tell everyone what you have seen, and after September 24th comes, you will come back to be with me forever. But right now, people need to hear your message." I felt myself floating back down, until I was in the hospital room again. I opened my eyes and saw my mommy still sleeping in the chair next to my bed. The machines were still beeping, and I still had all the tubes attached to me. But even though I was back in my sick body, my heart was still full of the peace and joy I had felt with Jesus. I knew that what I had seen was not just a dream. It was real, and it was very important. When my mommy woke up in the morning, I told her everything that had happened. At first, she looked worried and thought maybe the medicine was making me have strange dreams. But as I kept talking and telling her all the details, she started to believe me. I told her about the 3 dates, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. I told her about seeing Jesus and flying up to heaven. I told her about all the sad things that happened to the people who were left behind. My mommy started crying, but they were not sad tears. She said they were tears of joy because she believed that God had given me a very special message to share with everyone. "Christiana," she said, "we need to tell people about this. We need to help them get ready. Now I want to tell all of you what Jesus wants you to know. He is coming back very soon, on September 24th. That might seem like it's far away, but it's really not very long. Jesus wants everyone to be ready for that day. He doesn't want anyone to be left behind and scared like the people I saw in my vision. Here are the things Jesus wants you to do to get ready. Pray every day. Talk to Jesus every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to sleep. Tell him you love him and ask him to help you be good. Read the Bible. Try to read a little bit from the Bible every day. It's like getting letters from Jesus that tell you how much he loves you and how to live in a way that makes him happy. Be kind to everyone. Jesus wants us to love each other just like he loves us. Be extra nice to your family, your friends, and even people who might not be nice to you. Say sorry when you do wrong. If you do something that you know is wrong, tell Jesus you're sorry and ask him to forgive you. He always will. Tell other people about Jesus. If you know people who don't know Jesus yet, tell them about how much He loves them and wants them to be part of His family. Help your parents teach little kids. If you have little brothers or sisters, or if you know little kids, help teach them about Jesus too. Sing Jesus songs with them and tell them Bible stories. I also have a special message for all the grown-ups who might be listening or watching this. Jesus wants you to know that this is not the time to be playing around or being too busy for Him. He wants you to take this message very seriously. If you have not given your heart to Jesus yet, please do it right now. Just tell Him that you believe He died for your sins and that you want Him to be the Lord of your life. It's that simple, but it's also the most important thing you will ever do. If you are already a Christian, Jesus wants you to make sure your heart is really clean and ready for Him. Are you spending time with Him every day? Are you reading His Word? Are you living in a way that shows other people how much you love Him? Jesus also wants parents to make extra sure that their children know Him. Don't wait until tomorrow to teach your kids about Jesus. Start today. Read Bible stories with them, pray with them, and sing songs about Jesus with them. I know some people might not believe what I'm telling you. They might say that a little sick girl like me couldn't really have such an important message from Jesus. But remember what Jesus said. He sometimes chooses to speak through children. I didn't ask for this vision. I didn't make it up. It was more real than anything I have ever experienced in my whole life. And Jesus made it very clear to me that I must tell everyone about it. We only have a little time left. September 24th is coming whether we are ready or not. Jesus wants everyone to be ready so they can fly up to heaven with Him instead of being left behind and scared. Please don't wait. Please don't say, "I'll think about it tomorrow" or "I'll get ready next week." Do it today. Right now. Before I come to an end of my story, I want to pray for everyone who is reading this or watching this. Dear Jesus, thank you for giving me this special message to share. Please help everyone who hears it to believe and to get their hearts ready for you. Help the mommies and daddies to take this seriously and to make sure their whole families know you and love you. Please help everyone to not be scared, but to be excited about coming home to heaven with you. Help us all to use the time we have left to love you more and to tell other people about you. And Jesus, please help me to be strong enough to keep telling people about this vision until September 24th comes. Thank you for choosing me to bring this message. I love you so much. Amen. I want everyone to remember these 3 important dates that Jesus showed me. A September 22nd, the first day Jesus showed me. A September 23rd, the second day Jesus showed me. A September 24th, the day Jesus will come back for His children. Please mark these dates on your calendar. Please get ready. Please make sure everyone in your family is ready. And please remember that even though I'm just 11 years old and I've been sick my whole life, Jesus chose me to bring you this very important message. He loves you so much that He wanted to warn you ahead of time so you could be ready. I can't wait to see all of you in heaven on September 24th. We're going to have the most wonderful time with Jesus forever and ever. No more sadness, no more sickness, no more pain. Just joy and love and peace forever. But until that day comes, please get ready, and please help other people get ready too. Thank you for listening to my story. I love you all, and Jesus loves you even more. Thank you for listening to this amazing testimony. Her story may look similar to you, but in all of this, Jesus is asking you to be ready for His coming. Ask yourself today, am I ready? If your answer is yes, then congratulations to you. But if your answer is no, then you need to make that decision today. Because tomorrow may be long. Accept His Lordship today and be saved. Thank you so much for watching to this extent. If you have been blessed, please like this video. It will help YouTube to show it to more audience who need to hear about these testimonies today. Also share this video to your loved ones. It will be a great way to communicate Christ to others, and that will be the greatest gift you can give to those that you love. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so. It's free and it's a way of joining this great community of believers. Join us today and your life will not remain the same. Until next time, remain blessed.